All right, well, my little clock on my computer, assuming it's accurate, says 1:02. So we'll go ahead and get started. We may have obviously some people roll in over the first few minutes, but let me just officially welcome everyone to our now second monthly webinar in which we intend to bring you information that hopefully informs and equips you to better understand Valcom, the market, mass notification systems in general, and the technologies so that we can better serve, so that you can better serve your customers. We're really glad you've chosen to join us, and we hope you find these beneficial and informative. I want to go through just a couple of housekeeping items before we officially kick off. So first, we ask that you hold your questions or use the chat feature throughout to post your questions. And if anything pops up that we feel like is worth answering on the spot, we may choose to do that. And Mary on my team, who's one of the organizers, she'll be watching for that. And then at the end, we'll do our best to answer as many questions that have come in as possible. And then during the webinar, just so you know, we'll be inserting a few poll questions. One, to make sure you're paying attention, but two, also to just get some feedback from all of you. And finally, just be aware we are recording these sessions and we eventually will have them posted on our website so that you can review them again later, or anybody in your organizations or elsewhere that weren't able to attend today, they can still benefit from the content. So with that, let's start. Let me advance the slide here. There we go. So let me make some introductions and then we'll talk about today's topic. So I'm Todd Alford. I'm the Vice President of Marketing for Valcom. And with us today is Jonas Baranauskas. He is our Market Product Manager covering the industrial and commercial markets. Jonas is going to take you through an exciting new line of products, and it's really more than that. It's really a complete solution for everything from existing paging systems to all new installations and everywhere in between. And we're calling it ezIP. But I won't steal any more of Jonas's thunder. Let me turn it over to him, and he will take you through the details.
Thank you, Todd. This is Jonas Baranauskas with Valcom, and if you take to the next slide, Todd.
Sure.
This is our agenda for today. I'm going to go over what and why did Valcom create ezIP? How does it adapt in the market? What is the product mix of products that are in that lineup? And then we'll get into the basics of ezIP and what functionality does that include. And then finally, for those more technical, we're going to talk about how do you install it. But actually, you don't have to be that technical because it is very easy and meant to be. Then for the distributors that are on the call, we're going to get into a recommended stocking program because we anticipate this being in high demand and we want everybody to be ready to fulfill your customer request. And then finally, we'll end it with some marketing materials available for everybody to use in the future. So with that, let's get into it. What is ezIP? It's an affordable lineup of entry-level IP speakers, horns, gateway, page controllers, and head-end devices. And secondly, it's meant to build that bridge in kind of a baby step approach for customers to move and transition over from analog to IP. You don't have to make this big jump and make this big investment up front for all these features you don't plan to use. So it's meant to be kind of a baby step into that digital world. And we'll get into the why on the next slide here. We created this really for two reasons. One is based off of market survey results. We've hired a number of consultants to do studies on the market. We've sent out email surveys to our integrators and distributors. We've talked to distributors and integrators and collected voice of customer. And all of that feedback really told us in the market there's a demand for simple to install and simple to understand paging systems. Not only that, but we also found a lot of small businesses only require just a simple paging solution. They don't need a big, robust, full-featured type of digital speaker. So like I said before, this is that entry-level basic IP speakers. And we're really excited about this product. Second reason we created this was that trend that we're seeing, and that the consultants told us about, and that we're seeing in the market as well, is that movement from analog to digital technologies. So when I say digital, I mean our IP enabled devices. Not only that, but when you move to digital, a lot of companies want to see more operational efficiencies in their manufacturing center or in their facility. So a lot of people are part of Kaizens, Six Sigma. Our systems help support those endeavors. Now, on the next slide, we're going to talk about how it adapts. So it can adapt three different, there's three bullets here: compatible, expandable, upgradable. On the compatible side, what we have found in the market is that 70% of companies are still on analog phone systems. 70%. Just let that sink in for a second. And as companies upgrade their phone systems, a lot of times that paging system isn't compatible. The great thing about ezIP and the technology we put into it is that it's phone system agnostic, and it works with the old analog phones. So all that 70% of the market it covers, and then it also works for future-based IP phones. So as companies make that transition, their initial investment is secure, which is a great thing. In terms of expandability, if a customer were to expand their warehouse or have adjacent facilities that they would like to get onto the ezIP system, you can add any number of EZI speakers and horns to this system. So it's very expandable as the size of your facility grows, or if you want to cover multiple buildings and that campus-like feel. And then finally, it's upgradable. Out of the gate, you're not paying for features you don't need in the market. And however, as you expand and want to get more robust features, or if the customer wants to do that, it is upgradable to get those robust features. But like I said, it's designed to be the most affordable product line of IP devices on the market. That's just from my research initially, so that's not been field tested, but that's what I'm seeing right now.
Right. So as I promised, we'd be doing some poll questions. So we want to ask our first question now. Mary will cue that up. It should be hopefully showing up on your screens now. We'd like to just ask how familiar the audience that we're talking to today, how familiar are you with IP-based paging and intercoms, for both daily and emergency communication? Is this motherhood and apple pie for you, or is this actually kind of unfamiliar territory? So polls open. Please go ahead and make selections. I guess I got to vote, so I'll vote. So we'll leave this open for just a minute. We've already got 57 on, and we got 38 responses. Still coming in.
Is everybody seeing the poll?
It looks like it, because again, we have 39, now 42 responses. May not actually be seeing the dialog box. But oh, there we go. It's you can see it there in the chat window. But yeah, so fully half of you are familiar, and almost another half very familiar. So we've only got a small subset of the audience who are not very familiar. And that's great, because again, as Jonas said, this is really tailored to the full range of the market. Yes, we've tried to make it very easy for those who are not familiar to kind of graduate into IP. But if you're very knowledgeable about IP paging systems, this still fills and serves a number of existing applications. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll go ahead and close the poll now. And thank you for that. And then we'll give it back to Jonas.
All right,
Advance slide here.
Thank you, Todd.
There we go.
And here's what everybody's been waiting for. This is our ezIP product lineup. What we've done here is we've categorized it into speaker horns on the right, and that's made up of our best-selling, most popular products in the market today. We know there's a desired demand in the marketplace for these, and they are our best-selling kind of products for horns and speakers. But not only that, we did introduce a next generation page controller that's backward and future compatible. I'm going to get into more detail about that unit in a few slides. We also introduced a 24-port one-way gateway. That's our highest port that we offer in our product lineup, so we're really excited about that as well. And then we did include, in terms of head-end devices, our touchscreen consoles, the hardened version here in the enclosure that comes in a CB microphone, and then our touchscreen interactive console. On to the next slide, Todd.
Sure.
Oh. And this is meant for that audience that's maybe just a little bit familiar, not quite to the platinum status of IP devices. In terms of how do you make a page, you can make a page through our head-end devices. So those touchscreen consoles, you can easily program those or make a quick page. But what makes this really simple, you can use your existing phone system, whether that's a VoIP phone system or analog. You just plug it in through one of those ports, the FXO or FXS there, if you're on analog, and the SIP if you're on the VoIP network. So very simple, right out of the gate. And in terms of what endpoints can you broadcast to, you can broadcast to any new analog speakers you want to add to the network or existing analog speakers. So that existing infrastructure that's in place at that facility, they don't have to rip out, replace. You can use this as kind of a retrofit hybrid if you want to. And then finally, any number of these ezIP endpoints you see here. The Sound 360 on the left is really, really great. It's a new product of ours as well, designed for playing background music in large areas. On to the next slide. So this is that ezIP page controller, the next generation that I was talking about. This is designed to meet 95% of your needs. So as everybody's experiencing that crunch to carry less inventory on site, this page controller helps solve that problem. Whether that's different page controllers from Valcom or our competitors. You can also take over an existing paging system. If you have a competitor's system with an amp, you just take it over and you retrofit it. Meaning you can use those existing speakers already at the facility. And then the last point I wanted to talk about was this comes in a 3-port or 6-port option. If you want to expand that, you can buy 2 of these and connect them together and get you to up to 12 ports or even up to 18 ports. So you connect 3 of them together. If you want to go larger than that, we recommend you check out our 24-port gateway, which is on the next slide. Again, this is our largest port gateway. It's also our lowest cost per port on an IP basis. For those that aren't familiar with a port acts as a dedicated pathway for communication between paging system and devices. Again, this is one-way only and not upgradable to 2-way. That's for this product only. And then for the poll questions, I think what will help our results, we have a couple of Valcom employees on. I think if we could limit it to just outside external employees, that would, or not employees, customers, that'd be great.
Okay. So yeah, so now we're interested in what you're seeing in your individual markets in terms of, what are the technologies you see demand for in the next 1 to 2 years? Is analog still dominant? Are you seeing a move to digital, or do you see a lot of space for, kind of a mix, systems that are maybe partially analog and trying to move to digital? So. And we've already got people coming in. Hybrid so far seems to be the predominant. Analog, analog can't get any votes, looks like. So, and that's good. I mean, that's somewhat what we expected. That most of the world is moving to digital, or a hybrid thereof. But again, that's really helpful. We appreciate your input. I'll leave it open for another 10, 15 seconds here while you think about that. So yeah, fully 69% right now are saying hybrid, 27% digital, and just 2% saying analog is still dominant. So, and that may very much depend on where you are in the country and what kind of installed base you work with individually. So
Yeah,
again, yep, go ahead.
if you're not shy, that person that voted, I'd be curious what market, because it definitely, some of those other industrial markets could still have a big demand in analog. Maybe it's more of a chemical market or something more industrial.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll give you an opportunity to provide some feedback a few slides in, but let's go back to the main presentation, Jonas. I'll get it back to you on installation.
All right, we're going to go over the installation. We have about 7 or 8 slides, so bear with me. This first one is when you install the page controller, install the ezIP system on an analog network. And this is great because this is ready right out of the box with no programming required. And all you have to do is you plug in the Valcom self-amp speakers and then plug in your phone, the existing phone system that company has, that analog phone system that we know 70% of customers are still on, and it works right away for an all page. This is so easy. All you do is drop in the page control unit, connect the analog speakers to the zone output, and then connect that phone FXO FXS. So I can't stress how easy this is. No programming at all. On to the next slide, we're going to go into a hybrid system, which based on our survey results, that looks to be 70% of what everybody's seeing, at least on this call, in the market. And it has that same plug and play simplicity for all the analog equipment. And then for the IP, for the ezIP products, all you have to do is add that through the PoE network. So you can see there in that diagram, the Ethernet port right on the front. And then once you do that, you download our free 102B tool, again, free. And then you assign IP addresses to each device. And then from there, you can program each of those devices and give them names. It's extremely easy to use. And we also have an online course available as well. That's for anybody that's interested in that. And we'll have access to those materials at the end of the slide here. Now this is with the full IP paging with the page controller. So same setup as before, but all you have to do is you plug in a SIP or VoIP phone over into the Ethernet port and assign all the EZ speakers IP addresses and the 102B tool, same steps from before. You don't have to necessarily use one of our touchscreen consoles in this case. Now on the next slide, we get into if you wanted to have the ezIP system as a standalone from the paging, and you can use that with no phone system required at all. It'd be the same setup from before. You'd use the interactive console or the hardened interactive console for that that setup here. And on the next one, what we're showing in this diagram, and I really wanted everybody to concentrate on that VoIP phone system and interactive console. You can have either one, you can have both of them used in this type of setup. So in terms of an office manager might have the VoIP phone system at her front desk to make quick pages or other alerts. And that interactive console can be in the security guard's office, or the hardened version can be on the factory floor. So you have a security officer or plant manager that can trigger that. It's lockable and programmable for quick page alerts. So you can. This is kind of a more robust type setup, but a lot of great functionality in this in regards to this setup here. And then finally, if the same thing with the 24 port, if you want to use a hybrid system and you want a number of ports, you can hook up the 24 port to the interactive console as well. And this is again connecting one way only. And then finally, we get into here on slide 20. This is how the 102B tool is meant to work. You collect the IP addresses, you assign the device names, you can control the volume levels of the speakers, audio groups. For everybody familiar with IP speakers, you can do a number of programmable functions to them, and also from a maintenance perspective, you can see when they're down. All through the 102B tool, which is a free download and a free online course.
All right, now we'll get to our final poll question. We'll bring that up on the screen here. We're curious about the types of markets all of you serve. And this is one where you can select multiple, and we encourage you to do so. But particularly, over the next, based on what you've learned today or your familiarity with Valcom, where do you potentially see using Valcom products? What markets do you see? So, and I think many of you recognize us as a significant player in the K through 12 space, but we are urgently trying to grow into other markets. We absolutely think this solution fits more than just K through 12. And so interested in your feedback on that. And actually, we're getting now a pretty balanced response with a number of you playing in multiple sectors, which is great. And you'll see on the shared screen where it says poll question. We've got an email address down there in the bottom left corner, which is vmarketing@valcom.com. We would absolutely love to get some feedback from any or all of you as to why or why not would you choose Valcom for applications outside K through 12, and information about what solutions you do use when you're doing, say, a healthcare opportunity or industrial, commercial, etc. So feel free, following the webinar, shoot us an email. Anybody within the marketing team here will receive that, and we'll process that. And again, very much appreciate your responses. I think we're pretty much got everybody in, so we'll go ahead and close the poll now, and we'll come back to Jonas to talk about the stocking program.
All right, thank you, Todd. And that's pretty encouraging results from the survey. So we did design this to kind of tackle those other markets where it's less robust features are needed, especially in a simple warehouse or manufacturing facility. So this is it's good to see those kind of numbers come out. In regards to our stocking program, this is our recommended stocking program, more so for distribution by branch. We anticipate this being a very high volume product, so we want our customers, our channel partners to be ready, as well as our integrators. So this is meant to kind of depict where we see the greatest demand in terms of our products going for ezIP. And for guidance on purchasing these, please contact your Valcom rep, whether that's the customer service rep or your regional sales manager. And then any existing stocking agreements in place will still apply for ezIP, any in terms of, the T's and C's, terms and conditions.
Okay.
And on slide 13, kind of here's the functionality you get with ezIP, and then we have a more robust slide I'll get into a little bit later that talks about that upgrade pathway and what you get when you upgrade. But the key features here are it's a one-way system, ezIP and multicast enabled, compatible. It does come with the new G722 high def codecs, which plays higher audio quality for those that aren't familiar with that. So you're getting a really good high quality speaker in terms of sound with this product. Even though it's marked as affordable, we didn't skimp on the quality of sound there. On to the next slide, I talk briefly here about the upgrade and how you go about doing that. Whether it's end user or the IT department from the end user or the integrator, if a customer does want to upgrade, the three things they need to do is collect their MAC addresses on their devices, contact the RSM or customer service, and then that will be moved over to tech support. And all they do is they release that software through the 102B tool. So it's pretty simple. It can be done very quickly. Once we do get the order and tech support gets that order and gets a hold of the customer. And in terms of the software upgrade options, there's really three software upgrade options that's available. One is if you wanted to move your system and stay on ezIP functionality from 3-zone to 6-zone. That's very easy to do. We have a part number set up for that. And then the other two software upgrades are if you want to take your whole system and move it from ezIP to VIP protocol. So for those that aren't familiar, VIP is our higher, more robust featured IP product line. And when you do that, to move all the endpoints, there's one part for that. Then to move the consoles, those touchscreen consoles we talked about earlier, there's a separate license part number for that. But all in total, it's very easy to do. Our software team is very smart. They spent a lot of time making that as simple to do as possible. You just toggle between the EZ and the VIP protocol. But you do want to upgrade either all of them or none of them. So that's something to keep in mind when you're talking to your customer. On the next slide, this will be available on our website. It is a little bit busy and the font's a little bit small, but I want to let everybody know this does exist, and we will have it on our ezIP dedicated website here soon. That's still in development, the website is. But on the green, the parts in green, that's all the functionality that you're getting with these devices for ezIP. And one important point to note is that door plate intercom. We have found a high demand for talkback on door plate intercoms in the market, particularly in that commercial industrial market. So that does have talkback feature for ezIP and half duplex mode. So you'd be talking back to one of our interactive consoles through that or through your phone system. So that's depicted there, I think about the 4th or 5th row over. And then everything in blue is the functions you get when you upgrade. So this will be a good selling feature to have out there and talk to customers and upsell them later on once they've gotten into ezIP and you know that they require more feature-rich features later on in life. And then on to the resources. if you the product flyer is available now. It's on the left here. The website QR code will just take you to a blank page that's in development. It'll be done in about a month. And then the QR code on the right is our simple IP trainings. So for those that would like a little bit more in depth and to become more familiar, very familiar with IP, I'd encourage you to sign up with that. Those are done through our training team, and they'll go into a lot more detail than I was able to go through today, and be able to answer more of your questions from a technical perspective. So definitely encourage you all to sign up for those for that training. And on to our regional sales map. Now we did reshuffle some of the territories recently. We've expanded our sales team by about 4 people, and so I'd encourage everybody to check this map closely to see who your local or regional sales manager is here. And then if you're for distribution, I would go through your current customer service rep, as I mentioned before.
Jonas, we have a few questions in the Q&A.
Okay.
The first is, does ezIP allow activating pre-recorded announcements such as evacuate from all access devices?
Yeah, through the touchscreen console. Yeah, you can program and do quick page alerts through the touchscreen console.
Okay. And the second is, are these devices fully compatible with existing IP6K installations?
No.
Okay. The third question is, do you have anything in ezIP for two-way communication?
The only thing in ezIP for two-way is that door plate intercom. If they want to upgrade to two-way, then they would need to upgrade to the VIP protocol. So if they don't have the budget for a full IP, I would encourage them to get on to the ezIP, and then as the next budget round comes along, they can upgrade as needed.
Okay. And then one final question, do you cover the power needs, if any, for the IP speakers? What power level of PoE is needed?
Chad. Oh, can Chad? Chad can't speak. He's not on the call here. He's on the call. Chad, I don't know that question on the power level. I think over PoE we have you can run quite a bit of speakers, but I'll have to get back to the audience on that one.
Oh, in the chat, Chad added that standard PoE is sufficient to drive the endpoints. So you don't need special injectors or PoE plus, just standard power over Ethernet. And details will be on the spec sheets for each of these products as far as any of the information you need to know for installation, for connecting the devices, etc. Just a little color to add on, as you mentioned on the question around two-way communication, there is the door plate speaker that can communicate bidirectionally through it's half duplex, but can communicate bidirectionally. As you said, everything else, all the other endpoints and speakers and so forth, and the page controllers themselves, you can upgrade them fully to VIP, which is the Valcom protocol. So that also kind of goes to Travis's question regarding existing IP6K. If you upgrade them to full VIP functionality, then they could mesh with an IP6K installation. Can't think of a scenario where somebody would do that necessarily, but once you've upgraded them to VIP, they are now acting just like the fully enabled Valcom devices people have been buying.
And a couple extra questions. What about programming and broadcasting for school bell systems?
Well, this is not meant to cover K through 12 market because of the functions that we've limited for ezIP. So if you wanted that more feature rich, you'd have to go to that VIP line. But in terms of programming and functions, you can do quick page alerts from pre-recorded messages through the 10TB tool.
Mm-hmm.
But that's you can't do it. Doesn't come with the scheduler.
Okay.
If you want the VIP, but we know the scheduler is very important for scheduled announcements in K through 12. That would be something that you would need to upgrade to the VIP line if you wanted that.
And one last question, is there a way to group zones together for paging?
Yeah, Chad gave the thumbs up on that. So we did have a slide. There's unlimited number of groups, so you have that functionality as well.
All right, those are all the questions that I see so far.
Okay, good deal.
All right.
So that was today's content. Again, I encourage you to go back and you know, again, we'll get this posted up on our website here before too long so that you can share it with others or re-review it. Encourage you also to continue, and if you are not a subscriber on Valcom.com, go to Valcom.com and either you'll get a pop-up encouraging you to subscribe, or in the top right corner you have opportunities to subscribe for product updates, software updates, other information, news and events about Valcom. So encourage you to do that so that you stay current with what we're doing here and with everything else. And then also, we definitely want to give you a little window into our upcoming webinars. So next month, we kind of pick back up with what we started with in February, walking through, Chad is walking the group through our software suite. So he gave kind of an overview and a bit of a focus on VMAS back in February. We'll get that on, hopefully that's on our website within the next week. You can review that. And then in April, we'll pick that series back up. Chad will cover the IP6K Site Manager. And then in May, more detail on the vAlert mobile application and that software solution. And then in June, not part of that series, but the Chad show continues. He'll be taking you through a couple of upcoming product releases that we'll be launching here in July. So we definitely encourage you to join for that. And you can see a bit of a reveal there, but hopefully not enough to totally tip our hand. So again, we really appreciate everybody joining us today. And if you have additional questions, again, hit that vmarketing@valcom.com email address, and we'll do our best to get you answers as thoroughly and as quickly as possible. And that's it for today. So we gave you 20 minutes back. We won't charge you for that.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks a lot.